Sylvaneth. But first... no, wait. There's more. First, let's talk about what I'm bringing to my league game tomorrow. So I would say it's a pretty standard big wild list. I think this is pretty boilerplate, right? Right? Weird Knob Shaman with Master Magic and Teleport, Gobsprak, Megaboss with Destroyer, War Chanter with Fix and Beat. This is to support the Wargog primarily, right? But also like Gobsprak and others, whatever. Swamp Collar Shaman with Choking Mist. I think that this is a mistake. I don't think that I should be taking Choking Mist here. I think I should be taking Blizzard instead. I think that sometimes in this list I just have too many spells and I don't know what to do with them, right? And it's like Choking Mist is good, you know, but like with Gobsprak, it's, you know, Nasty Hex is not going to be your default. Summon Boggy Mist isn't a good choice in Big Wild a lot of the time, especially if you're trying to be aggressive, because you're always aggressive with your Iron Jaws units, right? And then after that, what's left? You know, do they have high armor saves? My game tomorrow doesn't, so... And I guess, I mean, you could do Hoarfrost. He could also be taking Hoarfrost instead. But Blizzard, I think, is a more interesting and aggressive choice. Wargog Prophet with Hoarfrost and Glowing Tattoos. 2x10 Ardboys, all with Stickas, because we're going to play a defensive castle style. Reinforced Brutes. Bolt Boys ×6, and then a unit of 3 Gorgruntas. We have our Endorian Acolytes Battalion. It only has 2 members in it, I believe. Maybe it has 3. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. And then Warlord Battalion, right, for Destroyer / Glowing Tattoos. And then, interestingly, a Wizard Finder Battalion. So many battalions in this list. So it's a unit of Brutes, and I believe the Megaboss on foot. The Megaboss and the Brutes are in the Wizard Finder Battalion. So I mean, I'm not going to check right now, but let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you only need the 2. And then an Iron Jaws Fist, and that's the Gorgruntas and the units of Ardboys. So that's just a +1. It's a free all-out attack for one of them once per battle. So it's whatever. It's like a good turn 1. Like if you're going to be really aggressive with Gorgruntas on turn 1, right, you can issue them all-out attack without having to spend a command point. So that's basically what it's for. Or if you get Alpha Struck, right, or if you want to be really aggressive on turn 1, it's just a command point. And that's good, right? So, you know, because it's only really going to be useful like turn 1, turn 2, because after that you'll just have the built-in. So unless they have any minus to hit, then I guess it can counteract that. But, yeah, pretty boilerplate list, I think. Let's check out what my opponent is running. So my opponent is playing Sylvaneth. The sub-faction is Harvest Boon. This is the one that so it's going to let basically the bulk of his army, all his Lancers and Seekers, it's going to let them all move up to 12 inches at the start of the game, like before his first turn. So he's going to Alpha Strike me. He's going to just try to pin me in my deployment zone, which, as we'll discuss, is fine by me. The grand strategy is spell casting Savant, so this is just his War Song Revenant wants to stay alive, essentially, the game, so I'm going to try to make sure that doesn't happen. Cool. And then the Season of War is the Burgeoning. So this is the 6-up ward, so a lot of his army is going to have 6-up wards. So, like, what? Okay, like, you know, I don't know, that's whatever. General, War Song Revenant, command trait, Spell Singer. This is the... Oh, sorry, one sec. Command trait, Spell Singer. This is the one that gives like the unlimited range. Well, it's not unlimited, but it's you measure from the terrain, and you know it basically means they get to cast whatever they want, wherever on the map they want, right? Because they get to pick where the trees go. So it's like you're going to be within range of their spells. So whatever, like we're used to that. And then the Artifact of Power is actually something I'm worried about. So it is the gem, the Vesperal gem. Once per turn in your hero phase, before the bearer attempts to cast a spell from the lore of Deepwood, so it has to be from the lore of Deepwood, so it can't be like Merciless Blizzard or anything like that, right? It just has to be. Instead of making a casting roll for that spell, you can say that they will use the gem. If you do so, that spell is automatically cast and cannot be unbound. After the effects of that spell have been resolved, roll a die. On a 1, the bearer suffers D3. So it's like there's a small chance you'll take a small number of mortals. So, and then this also has a 4-up ward, right? So the mortal wounds are kind of irrelevant. But you basically get to cast a spell for free, but only from Lore of the Deepwood. So that would be this, the Dwellers Below. So that, up next, spells. So the Dwellers Below, spell that has a casting value of 7 and a range of 12 inches. So, and that 12 inches is going to be extended through the range of the trees, right? So this is anywhere, essentially. Pick one enemy unit within range and visible to the caster, so again, anywhere. I'm not sure how the visible works. It might have to be visible to the model. Let me know in the comments. And roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in that unit. For each 5-up, it suffers 1. So my maximum reinforced unit is 10, right? So it'll be 10 dice at a 5-up. So, I mean, we're looking at a handful of mortals there. It's a pretty decent spell. So she can cast this for free every turn. Right, like I can't counter it. So essentially, from an unbinding perspective, this is going to be a 2 unbind opponent, right? And then the Tree Lord Ancient. So this Verdurous Harmony. Oh my god, so bad. Let's see, spell lore. What's this one again? Casting value 7, range of 18. Pick one friendly Sylvaneth unit visible within range. You can return 1 slain model to that unit. And then there has a clause like, if it's this or that, but it doesn't apply to this list. So it's a spell that returns a model with a range of 18. Okay, so that's cool. So that's actually a really nice choice because this list has a lot of elite models with high wound counts, right? So if we're gonna move on, and then I'll just say they also have this Spite Swarm Hive. Since we're talking about magic in the hero phase, it has so that's the one that gives the bonus. So that's my maybe not my it's gonna be maybe my priority. Strike and Fade. It turns off Strike and Fade. So is Strike and Fade only for heroes? Is it only for heroes? Where is it? Because now I don't know. Strike and Fade. Yeah, just a unit. So he can Strike and Fade his units, right? And like I do not want him to Strike and Fade. Strike and Fade is so annoying. And if he gets stuck in combat with me, like I'm just gonna chew him up. I'm gonna chew him up if he gets stuck in combat. So yeah, my priority for unbinding with Gobsprak, I guess. Although whoever casts it, Gobsprak can counter both spells, right? So Gobsprak is the only unbinder that I need, which means I can attempt to keep my other wizards out of 30. So they just aren't going to participate in the unbinding game, right? They're just going to be unbindable. So it'll just be Gobsprak that gets unbound by my opponent. And then whatever, it's like if you get, Gobsprak is fast. So if you get your spells, it's fine. And if you don't, that's also fine. Yeah, okay. Carrying on. So these Lancers and these Seekers. So the Lancers are the weaker of the two, and all these things are fast, and they all get to do a pre-game move, right? So it's kind of nutty. The Seekers are better than the Lancers because they have like an ability. They move a little bit more slowly, but they can. There's like lots of healing in these units. Right, here it is. Once per turn at the end of your movement phase, so this is my opponent's movement phase, you can pick one friendly Sylvaneth unit with a wounds characteristic of 5 or less. So that would be the Lancers or the Seekers. They're both 5 wounds. Wholly within 12, and roll the die on a 2-up, right? So a 2-up, you can return 1 slain model to that unit. So it's like every turn there's like a 5-point recursion of models from units. And that can be, I think that's going to be annoying, right? Because you're going to deal like 5 wounds to a unit, and then he's going to recur 1, right? And then it's just going to be a nightmare. So you either have to take out the Seekers to kill the Lancers, and pretty sure the Lancers also have like a self-heal. Yeah, you can heal at the end of each phase if any enemy models were slain by an attack made by this unit. In that phase, you can heal all wounds allocated to it. So they like attack and then they heal. right? And they also have strike first, so they're gonna get to it, like they're gonna get to attack and heal all the way, like up to 4 wounds, right? Which is a lot. And then fight first, so, and then like recur models, right? So I feel like you just have to focus fire these units down. Hopefully the Seekers first, right? If you can get rid of the Seekers, then the Lancers sort of, you can clean up the Lancers. But so the Seekers might actually be worth going off and killing. And then they have a unit of Tree Revenants, which are just dorks. They're just 5 models. They're just gonna go stand on an objective. That's all they're gonna do. And then we have the Endless Spell, and then they're a 1-drop list, so I'm definitely getting Alpha Struck. Right? He's gonna go first, and which is good for me. I hope he goes first. So I guess that's a really good first question. Do we want, if we're given the choice, or like, do we want to go first or do we want to go second? I think we want to go. I mean, he's gonna get a free pre-game move. He's gonna move way up the map. I mean, I can do the same then, just kind of run up the map and not charge anything and just sit. Even if I'm like, you know, within 4 inches of something with my front line. Although charging does generate WoW points. If I go first, it's just move up into the middle as best I can and just get ready for that double turn. Right? I'm just going to turtle up the middle with everything. If I go first, if he makes me go first, I can be really aggressive with either pigs or brutes. I think, yeah, because I want to kill the Warsong Revenant. The Warsong Revenant is my #1 priority target. I want to kill the Warsong Revenant, and then I want to kill the Seekers. That's my #2 priority. A 1-cast spell, a tree lord or whatever, like I don't think is a big, like a big deal. Or a tree ancient, not a tree lord, tree ancient. I mean, like, he's got some decent melee attacks, you know, but nothing like crazy, like 3/3, like 5 attacks, 3/3, 1/2 damage, and then 2 dice at 2, and then I guess it's 2s and 2s. Nope, 2s and 2s, 2 and 3. So he's, you know, I don't know, like low volume of dice, like 7 total. He's got a bow attack that has 3 damage, but only 1 rend. So I don't know. My heroes are going to be safe from him, but I guess that would be my 3rd target, but. If I can get rid of the Seeker, I kind of shut off the Lancers quite a bit. I don't care about the whatever. These guys will just die too. Like Gobsprak would be a good way to kill these things, right? Because Gobsprak has to be aggressive this game, I think. But we'll talk about more of that in a bit. But the Revenants or whatever, they're just going to die to whatever's thrown at them. So then if I want to kill the Warsong Revenant, I think that the best way to do that is with... If I go first or second, regardless, I think the best way to do it might be with brutes. It might be with brutes, because the brutes, I think, are going to just hang out there way longer, and they're going to just be able to run through into the trees. Yeah. I think you even teleport outside of 12, and then you Mighty Destroyers in for 8, so you have a 7 roll on the dice. And then you, so then in your charge phase, you just roll, and you need 7 with a reroll. I think that's the best you can do. Because it's like, is it better to have, because like, there's no Unleash Hell potential here, right? If you're going to get Unleashed Held, then I think it's definitely better to teleport outside of 9 and then roll, you can roll your charge essentially 3 times for 2 command points. Mighty Destroyers and the regular, whatever it is, reroll. So... that's kind of the trade, right? But with no Unleash Hell, it's like you spend the 1 command point and then you get +1 charge. And then you can re-roll it. I don't know. Maybe I've just failed some lately and feeling bad about it. Or the pigs, right? The pigs are obviously another good choice. They're more consistent. I guess the pigs would be best if he leaves it open. I'm kind of feeling like whatever's left open on turn 1 is going to get Hoarfrost pigged. Right? Any of those 3 targets, whichever one I feel is the most vulnerable, and the pigs will be able to hit with the least amount of retaliation, and depending on what I can actually get to and whatever, right? Like maybe his little dork units will just like zone out a teleport, because that's what I would do if I was him. I would be zoning out a piggy teleport, where like I just have my 9-inch ruler out, right? And I'd be like, I'd just be whipping around the map, finding those little holes. plugging them up with nerds. Yeah, and then so between the brutes and the pigs, I think that's how the Tree Lord and the Revenant will die. The brutes want to fight something big, like all these, and so everything here. The only thing that has any ranged attacks is the Tree Lord. The Tree Lord's the only thing that has any ranged attacks. Everything, like, and it's not even very many attacks. It's only 2 attacks. So this is all a melee army. So if I can turn off Strike and Fade, he's gonna just hit my castle. I'm gonna pack my castle so tight because it's like I'm not expecting any AoE like bombs or anything, so I'm just gonna pack it up tight. He's gonna come into me, and if he fails his Strike and Fade, he's gonna just be stuck in combat with all of my army. Like I'm gonna finally get to try to use time to get stuck in, right? So that's kind of the idea. Yeah, cool. I'm not sure if there's anything else that I really wanted to touch on. I wish I didn't close my my list. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna shoot him to death. He's gonna charge into me. I'm gonna unleash hell him. He's gonna fail his Strike and Fade, and then I'm just gonna be like my Wergog and my Bold Boys and my Ward Chantered up front line of like a cocoon of Ard Boys. And so one thing I guess I probably should mention as well is the map, because the map that we're playing is that's actually a great thing to talk about. The map is great content, boss. It's the one with the pulse. Yeah, hold on, I'm just gonna triple check. I'm pretty sure it's pulse. Okay, so I'm just gonna go off the fact that it's pulse. So with pulse, it's like you start. The territories are only like a quarter of the map, right? So that's nice too, because that makes it very easy to get. I guess it's actually a better, yeah. What's where you leave all your territory? I guess can't really. Anyway, so there's 4 objectives that are sort of evenly spaced through the center of the map, and then you pick one side or the other side, either the right or the left side. And then at the start of each subsequent, let's see. Okay, at the start of each subsequent battle round. Hold on. At the start of the second battle round, after determining which player will take the first turn, the player taking the second turn picks either objective A or B to be the pulse for that battle round. At the start of each subsequent battle round, the player adjacent to the pulse that has not yet been the pulse becomes the pulse. The objective adjacent to the pulse that has not yet been the pulse becomes the pulse. Okay, right. That's worded so oddly. Only one objective can be the pulse per battle round. Objectives cannot be moved in this battle. Okay, so score 1 victory point if you control at least one objective, score 2 victory points if you control the pulse. So it's control 1, and then control the pulse. Score 1 victory point for each objective adjacent to the pulse that you control. Okay, right. Score 2 victory points if you completed your battle tactic. So it's 1 victory point for 1, it's 2 for the pulse, and then it's up to 2. It's not 2 every round though, right? It's not 2 every round. For that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like a 6 or a 7 point turn. A 6 or a 7 point turn. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of line up in the middle. Yeah. Maybe Gobsprak will try to flank and grab objectives, right? He can just be faster. If I get a sneaky miasma off, if I can fly over somewhere pretty safe, like behind a piece of terrain, within 30 of my enemies, right? Like moving 28 inches is a lot of inches to move. So if you get a sneaky miasma, you can be like, okay, like he's gonna snap this objective or kill like those stupid little dorks he has, right? Something like that. He can get kind of scary when he gets that +1/+1 to hit, +1 to wound. Like he gets a lot better than you would think. You can even, if there's nothing for the bold boys to shoot at, you can poison them, but that never really happens. Okay, so what are we looking at for battle tactics? I guess battle tactics is a good thing to think about here as well. So I think, sorry, I just want to talk about this map a little bit more. I think I'm going to have a really good game on this map because it's not a map where mobility is favored, because there's kind of only like one spot to be every round. As the pulse goes from one side of the board to the other, it's predictable where it's going to be moving, right? So you can sort of move up into the middle, use either teleports or speed, of which I have both, to grab side objectives. So hopefully he does something like puts a tree lord on one all by himself, and then I can say, okay, fantastic, you want to fight, little man? I'll put 10 brutes on that objective, and then my brutes will eat your tree lord. So, you know what I mean? Like I can sort of take objectives with my utility tools and then just castle up in the middle and then deny him the middle entirely all the time. Like deny both of those objectives, like 10 ard boys on each. He's not gonna have any feet on the ground, right? Like he's just not gonna have any feet. His list is so not. It's like fast, but you don't need to be fast on this map. It's better just to have more boots on the ground and just like I'm actually thinking that this game might be one where I actually call the Wa multiple times. If he gets in range of a stacked up castle, and if he's in range of like both my Ard boys, it's like, and then there's 5 heroes behind them, Jesus, like generating 7 Wa points like that. If you roll well, you can just be at 24 on turn 2. Like it's ridiculous what it can do. So I don't know. It seems pretty good to me. So battle tactics. I guess battle tactics. So, casting a spell without it being unbound I think it's going to be easy, because Gobsprack only has to be forward. So on the turn that I want to do that, I can just not cast with Gobsprack. There's nothing super crazy I want to cast with them. Sneaky Miasma. Like, Nasty Hex has to be kind of set up. The Warsong Revenant has that too, so I'm kind of thinking that Gobsprack is going to fly around. I just have to be careful about his speed because he can move really far. I'm kind of giving him like 24-inch range. I want to stay outside of 24 inches of his cavalry guys, right? His lancers and his... Because they have 14, so I want to stay like outside of 10 inches. So that's a good way to think about things like that too, right? Like in terms of just like their ranges. Anyway, I'm going to try to stay outside 24. Yeah, so battle tactics. Sneak up is probably going to be easy. Take 2 Iron Jaws in the middle of the map is going to be super easy. So that's 3 super easy ones. We have the wall one. That's going to be easy. Kill his battle line. So if I kill all of these things, which is a lot to kill, they're 5 wounds each. So it's like, you know, it's a lot of wounds worth of stuff. So probably won't be able to do that one. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it'll be pretty straightforward. Get your units out of the territory. I can't remember what. Let me just look at it. What is it really quick? Let into the Maelstrom is always easy. I won't be getting surround and destroy. Yeah, wholly outside of your territory, because it's easy to get them outside of our territory. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really easy battle tactics. It's not going to be tough. Here's a list, I'd say, of like just solid ones this game. Intimidate the invaders, magical dominance, let into the maelstrom, all of those. Time to get stuck in is probably at its best here. Wait for it, lads. Sneak up, and that's our turf now. So I have 6 pretty much like pretty easy battle tactics, and then time to get stuck in, which I probably won't pick, even if I'm like tempted, because yeah. And then my grand strategy is just easy, because I can just teleport either a battle line or my general to the other side of the battlefield. And because I believe that one is you have to be inside of your opponents. It's wholly within enemy territory. Yeah, so you have to be in their quarter. So yeah, like easy for me battle tactics. I wonder what it'll be like for my opponent. Yeah, so I think that about sums it up. I'm feeling like it's a favorable matchup, and then I'm feeling like it's a favorable map. So RNGesus, hear my prayers. Like, subscribe. Wah.